I'm Austin Clavin.
And I'm Max Duncan. Today, we're going to bring you a report on chemical warfare. We'll be introducing these different chemicals of chlorine
Phosgene,
and sarin.
brought to you by John Van Kempen's chemistry class. You gotta love him.
Alright, let's start off with chlorine. Chlorine is an element used in industry and found in some household products. Chlorine is sometimes found in poisonous gases. Chlorine gas is pressurized by cooled and changed in liquid, so it can be used and stored. Now, chlorine was discovered in 1974 by Carl Wilhelm Schmidt.
You mean 1774?
It is.
I thought you said 19.
It was discovered in the United States. Most chlorine can be actually found in common table salts. Now, chlorine for a weapon has been used in various places. It has been used in World War I as a chemical agent to stop the victims. It would not cause death, but it would slow down the victims and eventually paralyze them.
Ouch.
Some side effects for chlorine, if ever was inhaled during as a chemical weapon, would be blurred vision, burning pain in the retinas or blisters in the skin, burning sensation in the nose or throat or eyes, coughing, chest pains, difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, fluid in the lungs, nausea, vomiting, watery eyes, wheezing, and eventually death. Alright. And for most of chlorine, the effects are not long term, so they'll end shortly. Most medication will not be needed immediately. Alright, now on to our next chemical, phosgene.
Phosgene. Let me tell you, this stuff is nasty. Phosgene is a major industrial chemical used to make plastics and pesticides. At room temperature, 70 degrees, phosgene is a poisonous gas. With coloring and pressure, phosgene can be converted into a liquid so that it can be shipped and stored. When liquid phosgene is released, it quickly turns into a gas that stays close to the ground and spreads rapidly. Phosgene gas may appear colorless or as a white to pale yellow cloud. At low concentrations, it has a pleasant odor of newly mown hay or green corn, but its odor may not be noticed by all people exposed. At high concentrations, the odor may be strong and unpleasant. Phosgene itself is non-flammable, not easily ignited and burned. Phosgene is also known by its military distinction, CG.
Very good component.
Where phosgene is found and how it is used. Phosgene was used extensively during World War I as a choking or pulmonary agent. Among chemicals used in the war, phosgene was responsible for the large majority of deaths. Phosgene is not found naturally in the environment. Phosgene is used in industry to produce other chemicals such as pesticides. Phosgene can be formed when chlorinated hydrogen compounds are exposed to high temperatures. Chlorinated hydrogen compounds are substances sometimes used or created in industry that contain the elements chlorine, hydrogen, and carbon.
One interesting fact also was used in. There was a Japanese terrorist attack that was used in back in 1994.
Darn Japs. How are people exposed to phosgene? People's risk for exposure depends on how close they are to the place where the phosgene is released. If phosgene gas is released into the air, people may be exposed through skin contact or eye contact. They may also be exposed by breathing air that contains phosgene. If phosgene liquid is released into the water, people may be exposed by touching or drinking water that contains phosgene. How phosgene works. Poisoning caused by phosgene depends on the amount of phosgene to which a person is exposed, the route of exposure, and the length of time that a person is exposed. Immediate signs and symptoms of phosgene. Now listen carefully here. During or immediately after exposure to dangerous concentrations of phosgene, the following signs and symptoms may develop: coughing, burning sensations in the throat and eyes, watery eyes, blurred vision, difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, nausea and vomiting. Skin contact can result in lesions similar to those from frostbite or burns. Following exposure to high concentrations of phosgene, a person may develop fluid in lungs, pulmonary edema, within 2 to 6 hours. If you were to be exposed after 48 hours, this may be causing difficulty breathing, coughing up white to pink tinged fluid, a sign of pulmonary edema, low blood pressure, heart failure. Now there is one sign that it does not say, and that is death. It is not lethal, which is both good and bad. You may live, but it's gonna hurt. Ouch. Phosgene. It was first used in World War I by the Germans in 1915. When dispersed in air, and yada 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 yada. So, used by Germans during World War I, and it's deadly. Back to you, Max, with
Sarin. Sarin is one of the more toxic gases used during World War II. It was made in Germany around the year 1938. Originally it was going to be used as a pesticide, but during the time of war it was turned into a chemical weapon.
so it can kill both humans and bugs.
Yep,
The irony.
doubleheader. This was used as a nerve agent. Most nerve agents were mostly lethal on the site of contact. Most times it was used was during mostly World War I and World War II. During World War I it was a pesticide. During World War II it was the actual weapon.
I'm sorry. It was used to kill bugs in 1 or 2.
World War I it was used to kill bugs. World War II it was used to kill people.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Sometimes how it works, it will enter the body and react with chemicals that are used to make you flex, or antimines. It will attack the antimines, giving you thus limiting that you won't be able to move your muscles. You won't be able to contract them at all. Basically, you would just lay there until it would eventually reach your arteries and make it so you would stop breathing, or your heart would completely stop.
Ouch.
Some symptoms of sarin were runny nose, watery eyes, small pinpoints in the pupils. Basically, your pupils will dilate to very small. You have eye pains, blurred vision, drooling excessively, and sweating, coughing, chest tightness, basically tightness of the chest, rapid breathing, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, or abdominal pain, increased urination, confusion, drowsiness, weakness, headaches, slower fast heart rate, lower high blood pressure, loss of consciousness, conclusions, paralysis, and possibly may lead to death. On site of exposure, most can be cured, except if you were right in the thick of it, you would eventually die unless the medication was administered immediately.
So you better be pretty fast, nurses.
Oh yeah. And that's all I have on sarin. So this will conclude our report on the chemical warfare weapons of sarin, chlorine, and phosgene.
We would like to thank you for your attention at this moment. We'd also like to thank our co-stars, our camera person, Teresa Clavin. Hi, Mom. Thank you for this lesson, and also brought to you by John Van Kempen of Chemistry.
Thank you.
Have a good day.